Hello neighbor, this is Curt with eTrailer, and today we're taking a look at the Thule TracRac TracONE ladder rack and seeing how it works with our 2025 GMC Sierra 1500. Now, a ladder rack is an excellent option for anybody that has some of those longer payloads that don't fit completely into the truck bed. The Sierra 1500 we have today comes with a 5 3/4 bed. It's the shortest bed that they offer, but they do have beds up to 8 feet. These aren't put in any specific position like you would if you had a ladder rack with stake pockets, so it also allows you to move your back bar as far and as close to the front bar as you need. It's going to come with 4 different load stops, so that's going to come in really handy for some of those workloads if you have some lumber, some ladders up here that you need to take. But the great thing about this ladder rack is that it also makes for an excellent recreational rack. It is T-slotted at the top here so that you can use all your favorite rooftop accessories that need a T-slot, and a lot of your clamp mounted accessories are going to work well too. You're going to get a total of 56 inches of bar space along with a little bit of extra overhang. So there's a lot of different things that you're going to be able to do with this rack. So the TracRac is going to afford you an 800-pound load capacity. That's going to come in really handy for all those different accessories we mentioned putting up here, whether it's lumber, ladders, or anything else that goes on them. It's going to be a powder-coated aluminum. That makes them really lightweight when you're installing or even removing them for whatever reason you might need to. It's also going to help with that weight when you want to adjust these bars closer or further apart. They're held on by 8 C-clamps, very easy to install, and assembly is very simple as well. So follow along and we'll show you exactly how we got this up on our truck. So when it comes to the assembly of our rack, we're going to be assembling the second rack, the rear rack that's going to be toward the tailgate. We already have the crossbar up near the cab. We also already have our driver's side rear assembly finished for the tower, and we're going to be working on showing you how to put together the passenger side. Now, how all of these towers go together is really the same. All you need to do is make sure that you determine your front bar from your back bar and your driver's side from your passenger side. So to do that, what we have out here is we're going to have our clamps, we have our bracket supports, our rubber shims, we have our tower foot, our tower itself, and we have our tower head assembly along with our crossbar. Just a couple of tools that you probably want to have handy. I've got a standard 3/16 Allen tool, and I've got a 7/32 ratcheting Allen tool here. I do recommend that if you have a ratcheting version of this rather than a standard, you are going to have a couple of bolts that you need to torque down, so have yourself a torque wrench handy as well. Now, if I'm determining which side of the vehicle I am working with, this part right here, which is my tower foot, this lip is going to be on the inside of the truck bed, and we went the majority of this, all this space in front of where the tower goes, we want pointing toward the cab. On our front set of bars, this space will be facing toward the tailgate. We're working on the rear bar, so we're going to plan on this going on the passenger side, facing that way. So once we have that determined and we've got it determined which of our head assemblies to use, again, this is going to basically be based off of this and how it slants. So this is going to end up going on top of our tower like this, and as you can see, the tower itself is going to be slanted inward. This is going to remain flat. So with all that being said, first thing I want to do is get my head assembly done. And to do that, I'm going to take one of these short bolts, thread it right through here. I'm going to take one of these block bolts like this, and I'm just going to loosely thread this on. And the reason I'm not going to tighten this down too much is this is intended to go through your crossbar T-slot. So we really don't want to have this tightened too much. We want to make sure that it's able to slide down and get this attached. So I'm going to attach both bolts just like that. With the flat side facing up. And I'm going to set my head assembly aside for the moment. Next thing I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and get our tower attached to our foot. So I'm going to make sure that I have this aligned the proper way. I want to do this to where the decal is down toward the bottom. And I'm going to just slip it in just like that. Once I do that, I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to find two separate bolt holes down here at the bottom. And this is where we'll take this bolt. It's going to have a flat top to it. It's going to use that same 7/32 Allen key. And I'm just going to go ahead and thread this down in here. Now that we've got that good and snug, we're going to go ahead and turn to our head assembly. And the head assembly is going to be inserted just like that. We're going to take two of those same bolts and drop them in right up here and here. And get those tightened down as well. And once you get those snug down on the head assembly, pay close attention to your instructions. There is a torque spec for these bolts, so go ahead and grab that same 7/32 Allen tool, get it on your torque wrench, and torque it down to spec. Now we're going to get our towers onto our crossbar. Now, there is a specific side to the crossbar that these need to go on. The top of the crossbar is going to be pretty smooth across here. It's generally smooth all over, and you have this one little lip right here. The bottom of the crossbar has kind of this extra edge or ledge right here, so you can see it kind of tears over. That's a good way to determine which side it is. Another way would be the bottom of the bar. You're going to find a bolt hole here at the end where your end cap is going to go. So to get this on, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to use those blocks that we had at the bottom here, and we're going to slide them right through this T-slot. Just like that. I'm going to bring it a little closer to the middle, just like that. Generally, it's going to balance pretty well for you, but if you got a friend to hold it up, that's good too. Next thing I'm going to do is take my driver's side tower, and I'm going to do the exact same thing from the opposite end. Now that we've got them both in place, we're going to go ahead and get it set up in the truck bed. So all I'm going to do is kind of take it, lay it down like this, bring it up, and I'm going to climb into the truck bed at this point. And what I'm going to end up doing is just kind of getting this sort of spread out toward its ends. This is really just, you know, if you're working on your own, you want to keep everything balanced and upright, this is a pretty easy way to do it. So I'm going to get it up. I kind of seat one side of it just like that. I'm just going to slide the other end over until I can get that seated as well. Okay. Now that I've got that pretty much established, you know, you can select really almost anywhere along these rails here on your truck bed. Your clamps are going to go around this point, this groove right here from about here forward. So with the way that it tapers in over here on the side, I do have to leave a little bit of clearance back here. I can't really go all the way back to the tailgate on this truck because the clamps have to be a certain spacing apart, and I want to make sure that I got plenty of clearance under here to make sure that I get that proper spacing. So before we attach our C-clamps, we do need to insert these rubber shims, give it a nice cushion underneath our tower feet. So all I'm going to do for that is I'm just going to, you know, gently lift this up a little bit and slide it under. Just make sure it gets squared up. And I'm going to put it back into position where the foot is, again, right on the edge of our stake pocket there. Now I'm going to grab the driver's side shim and put that in, and we'll get to clamping it down. Now that we've got our shims in place, we're ready to attach our C-clamps. Now each tower is going to take 2 of these clamps. I'm going to start with the one closest to the tower and then add the one right over here. So what you're going to have is your C-clamp, the bolt, and you're going to have this bracket as well. Now the bracket is not threaded. It really just kind of sits on top of the bolt like this to get pushed up and to compress underneath the rail of your truck bed. So there's a couple of ways you could put this on. We could either put it on like this, slide it over there, or what you could do is put it on like this, and there's actually room under here to maneuver. You could just set it down right on top of it like that. I am able to get this really, really close to the tower, and that's a good thing. I do like being able to have as much space as I can to get these brackets apart. In fact, Thule requires a minimum for the back bar of a 7-inch spread from the center of one clamp to the center of another. It's different on our front bar. The front bar is going to require 3 inches at least center to center on the clamps. But once I've got this here and in place, I'm going to go ahead and get it to where it's nice and snug before I continue on to my second bracket. So with all of our brackets in place and snug, these are also bolts that do need to be torqued down. They have a different torque spec than the head assembly on our towers though, so pay close attention. Make sure you set your torque wrench to the right setting. So now that we've got our towers secured to our bed rail with our clamps, everything's tightened down, not going anywhere, we're going to want to secure our tower head to our crossbar itself. Now we left it loose for a reason. We want to be able to maneuver it back and forth so we can make sure that each side has an even overhang. So with my overhang over here being about 3 1/4, that's the measurement I got on the other side too, so we're ready to tighten down. If you're a bit uneven, I would recommend just gently tapping it back and forth. It doesn't work very well to pull on the bar, but tapping it from the end of the bar does seem to be able to make it move a little easier in those smaller increments. But once I've got that all done, I'm going to grab my 7/32 Allen key and get these bolts tightened up. You're going to notice that there's a flat side and a side with a bit of a slant. The flat side is where the bolt needs to go into, so that'll be facing down. I'm going to get under here and I'm going to start that getting threaded. It's a very tight fit. This takes a 3/16 Allen tool. So once I get it started in place, I'm going to grab that tool and get it tightened all the way down. So that's a look at the Thule TracRac TracONE ladder rack on our 2025 GMC Sierra 1500. Now, if after watching this video you decide this is the ladder rack for you and you go ahead and you get it, you put it on, you use it a few times, please share with us what you think about it in the comments below. We would love to share your experience with our other neighbors so they can make the best decision for themselves. Once again, I'm Curt with eTrailer. Thanks for stopping by.